Our Computex 2019 coverage is made possible thanks to Corsair, Patriot, EK, Typtra and Viper Gaming. Hey everyone, Andy Raffel from eTeknix.com. We're here again with Silverstone at Computex 2019. Now, as we know, Silverstone are pretty prolific when it comes to power supplies. They're always trying to innovate, and it seems like they're always trying to add more power, yet make the power supply even smaller. And they've done a few things based across various ranges. So firstly, I want to start with their passive power supplies. We all know the Nightjar series. So originally, you remember they had a 520 watt. They've now got the 600 watt. We did see this at CES, but now it seems like it is actually ready to go. So obviously, when it comes to passive power supplies, it's always difficult because there is no fan. You have to add a lot more heat sinks in there, and yeah, just trying to sort of get the thermals right on it can be a tricky part. But what they've managed to do with the Nightjar is actually do this. So they have made it ever so slightly smaller. So compared to the silver one that you just saw, you can sort of see the size comparison difference. So this is 140 mil, so basically the size of a 140 mil fan. What they've had to do is obviously shrink the wattage down ever so slightly, so it's 500 watt. But when you look at it, this one was 290 watt, 1 watts per litre. This is 277 watts per litre. So you haven't really lost a lot, even though, you know, it shrunk down. Really, really good. Obviously, they are a little bit more expensive because of the heat sinks, but you kind of expect that with a passive power supply. It is a very niche product. Obviously, moving on from there, you can see that we do have, we've seen all these before with the SFX-L, so we've got the 450 watt power supply. This is basically 440 watts per litre, so very, very powerful based on its size. Now, this is probably my favourite at the show up here. So we've got the Essential series. So what they've actually done, and they spoke to us and said, what do you think about RGB on a power supply? Personally, I love addressable RGB on a power supply, but it has to be on the right product. So instead of adding it onto kind of the high-end power supply range and kind of cheapening the that product, they've added it to their cheapest range. So what we can actually see on this is it's not modular, it is completely fixed cable, but the cables are flat cables. So you know that you kind of still getting a very premium product that you'd expect from Silverstone. It is an 80 plus gold efficiency rating, so really good on that. 277 watts per litre. It's a very, very small form factor power supply considering what you're getting. It's going to be very, very affordable. So they're actually going to be bringing out this model first, which is the 500 watt, and then at a later date they might be seeing how the market goes and sort of maybe bringing out a few more. Obviously, moving down the line a little bit more, we've got some other ones based on sort of Flex ATX. We've got TFX up here as well, so we've got a 700 watt TFX power supply. I believe the last one before this was 600 or 650, so they've just made it again a little bit more powerful. 724 watts per litre, so very, very powerful based on its size. Then, and some guys, I guess, who have been following Silverstone for a while will remember the Decathlon series. They're actually bringing it back. So instead of kind of, sticking with the Strider series, they want to do something a little bit different. So we've got the Decathlon Gold models, we've got the Titanium models, and then also the Platinum. So starting with the Gold, we've got everything from 600 watt up to 1650 watt across that. This one here is the 850 watt. Again, very, very small form factor. Then as we move up, we've got the 1550 watt, 668 watts per litre. It's a very, very small power supply when you look at other brands such as Superflower, whose their kind of equivalent wattage is going to be a lot bigger. And then we have this bad boy. So this is the 2000 watt Platinum power supply. As you can see, it is extremely small. We've got a single 140 mil fan on there, fully modular, of course. And one of the key things that they're actually doing with the Decathlon range is kind of changing the connectors on it. So when we look at the connectors, in the past you would have had some for PCI Express and some for sort of your 8-pin, 4-pin EPS. You can actually use the same connectors now. So this just makes it a little bit easier. So for instance, if you wanted sort of a lower wattage model and you had a Threadripper but only one graphics card, you can just kind of, make it fit your system and your solution a little bit more. Now, the last one that I want to talk about on the power supply front comes down to SFX. So again, Silverstone were kind of the first to have an SFX power supply at, I believe it was either 650 or 700 watts. They've just taken it one step further. So now we have this tiny little thing at 750 watts. And then moving it just a little bit bigger in size, but not too much, is the SFX-L. So this is a 1000 watt power supply that, as you can see, is basically the size of my hand. This is almost 1000 watts per litre, 969 watts. I'm looking forward to when they get this up to 1200 watts and give us that kind of 1000 watts per litre kind of rating, I guess you'd call it. But yeah, really, really cool stuff going on here from Silverstone. We have got lots of other videos of kind of their cases, and one of their kind of prototype cases, so definitely go and check that out. Hopefully you enjoyed this coverage of Silverstone here at Computex 2019. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit now, and it's getting to be a long week, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Go check out the rest of our coverage, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.